Hey, what's up? I'm John Hansen. For over 20 years now, I've been doing the article on the website, whichever site I'm at. Now, of course, fantasypoints.com, the draft plan. And it kind of started years and years ago when people really did want and need a lot of hand holding. And I would kind of just walk through almost every pick and every scenario. This is what I would do if I was in this situation when I already did this and all that stuff. It has evolved over the years, but it basically, the article that I produce every year for subscribers, maps out my plan of attack at each position, along with the players that I am targeting and when, and obviously some reason analysis why. And then, among other things, I narrow down the top 300 players to the top 70, my 70 targets, which is about a third of that list, a little bit more than that, I guess, or no, less than a third. But anyway, the final piece is I go through and I put the plan into action by drafting teams from various draft spots. Sometimes, I'll do like pick 2 and then pick 4 and then pick 7 or something like that. But we decided this year to try it out because it is something that a lot of people think about. Like, I got the 6th pick. I don't know what to do. Well, that's what this video is for, the podcast and the article. And believe me, this one took a while because I did 2 or 3 versions of it because I went through and didn't really like it. I had to redo it, start over. The questions that you're asking yourself at 4 is, is it too early for Travis Kelce? Do I get a running back at 4? Do I just hop in on the wide receiver bandwagon? I've gone through all the possible scenarios and I've come up with what I think is the best plan of action from 4. And once again, we'll use the Fantasy Points Generator software to give us some recommendations, help guide us through to maximize and optimize the draft. We're not always going to listen to the recommendations. And if you're listening to this in podcast form, I think it will be pretty painless in terms you can hear as we go through each round and every pick that I make, what we're looking at, other players we're looking at, and the like. So without any further ado, let's get into the task at hand, which is drafting effectively, optimally, and hopefully gurifically from the number 4 hole. Okay, we are ready right now to draft out of the number 4 hole. Let's launch the Fantasy Points Generator. If you're watching the video, we'll call this team number 4, 2023, and we'll select the 4 hole. We'll go with a 15-round draft, a snake draft out of the 4 hole, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, no kicker, and no defense. But we will go with 2 flexes, which can be a wide receiver, running back, or tight end. We will go PPR, and we are off and running. We open with a decision, of course. Do we proactively get a running back? Or do we just get in the wide receiver business? The Fantasy Points Generator has crunched the numbers, and it does go wide receiver. We do have 2 wide receivers on the board with 295 or more fantasy points, and that is actually under Austin Eckler, who's at 298. But we are wide receiver heavy this year, and I'm going to go with it. But I am going to definitely go with Tyreek. I just think Tyreek is obviously younger. I feel more confident about his ability to be available. The quarterback situation isn't great for either, but I'm going to go Tyreek there. That is a coin flip, Cooper Kupp or Tyreek, and we'll see what direction the software checks for us as we crunch the numbers. We can look at the players going off the board. Tony Pollard and Saquon Barkley just drafted in front of me, along with Jonathan Taylor 4 picks ago. That sucks. Olave, Waddle, Chubb, all great picks, and they all go right in front of me. So this is a little bit of a tough start or a tough spot here in round 2 in the 4 hole in a 12-teamer. But luckily, this is why I'm doing this exercise. I've gone through this, and I've gone through a few different scenarios, and I've found that the computer is right. Going wide receiver is the play. Tyreek Hill and Devontae Smith is, little. I don't know how many people are looking at that pairing, but it does line up ADP wise, and it is pretty darn sexy. So we'll mock to our next pick and see what the software recommends now in round number 3. We can look at our advanced analytics and see that we could go Debo here, but that would be 3 wideouts in a row. We could wait a pick and get Ayuk, which is what I'm looking at. Mark Andrews deserves consideration. That is the pick. That would be BPA. And we could still get some of these other backs like J.K. Dobbins and Rashad White. That is absolutely a consideration. But with the news still pretty good as I record this on July 26th on Breece Hall, and knowing that I can get Michael Carter really late, in fact, beyond round 15 probably. Most leagues will draft beyond 70 players that we're going to do in a 15-round draft here. So let's just get Breece Hall because it's one hell of an RB1 if for the long haul this year, if that knee cooperates. Obviously, we've got Aaron Rodgers here. We've got the software now with the 4th round pick recommending Dobbins, and that makes sense. I do like Dobbins quite a bit, but we can see here in the advanced analytics tab based on ADP because we're at pick 45 now in round 4 after going Tyreek, Devontae, Breece Hall. We could wait a pick and still get Dobbins. We could wait 2 picks and still get Rashad White. We could take Brandon Ayuk now or else he's gone. So guess what we're doing? Because I am extremely high on Brandon Ayuk, big part of the draft plan. I want to capture that potential massive breakout. I know there's only one ball, and Debo's in good shape to report to camp. So I might be overselling Ayuk just a little bit, but even if he underwhelms a little, not going to be that bad of a 4th round pick. I mean, the guy was a top 20 guy last year, and he's only getting better and better and better. Now, in round 5, software is recommending J.K. Dobbins, but I could still wait a pick and get Rashad White. We've got 3 wideouts already, so we're good there. And while Trevor Lawrence is tempting, if we waited a pick, we could get Deshaun Watson. So you probably know where I'm going with this, as I love to have balance and gurific players at values. It's a little bit of an overpay, but I believe that Kyle Pitts will be a 5th rounder when it's all said and done. And that's when I just took him in round number 5. That was the 4th pick of round 5. A little early, but I love the start here of Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Breece Hall, and Brandon Ayuk. Let's go to the recommendation for my next pick in round number 6. We can see that Trevor Lawrence is the pick, but if I waited a pick, I could still get Deshaun Watson. Now I could take Rashad White, but if I waited a pick, I could still get Rashad White again. So it's a tough call, basically. I only have the one running back, though, and I probably shouldn't mess around with Rashad White. I think I should just get him. That's what the software says. So let's do it. We're pretty much listening to the software. We've gone off of it a couple of times, but we are in lockstep with it. And, of course, amazingly, this is the beauty of the software. Even though we're at pick 76 and his ADP is 67, Lawrence is still available. Now, he's probably going to go off the board with the next pick if I don't take him here. But that's the beauty of this software because it is randomized. And Trevor Lawrence will fall to 76 in some drafts. It happens. We don't have drafts that actually go completely off of ADP. So we're bringing him in to the fold for sure because we essentially now have our starting lineup out of the 4-hole with Trevor Lawrence, Breece Hall, Rashad White, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Brandon Ayuk, and Kyle Pitts. That is as gurific as it gets in round number 8. The software is going to recommend. I need to almost tamp down Brian Robinson's projection because it's very fair, but man, the software loves him. So that tells us that he's a really good value. We could take him here, no, but why would we? Because if we waited a pick, it'd still be available. Now, Sky Moore, though, is really going to be a hot commodity soon here. So I might I might have to take him, but then again, we're still only at pick 93. It's a little early. I'm going to go off the reservation a bit because I really starting to feel this one too. I mean, just things are lining up for a number of players this year for me, and James Cook looking like a very good pick in round number 8, and he is my RB3. That's not bad at all, considering he's going to have a very large role with the Buffalo Bills. Let's see what the software. Once again, Brian Robinson. I really hate to do this to Brian Robinson, but if I don't take Sky Moore here, his ADP right now is 100.8, and I'm at pick 100 in round 8, so you'll be damn sure I'm getting my guy Sky Moore. The hype train is it's probably already left the station. I think Sky's ADP is already up 30 spots. Back in February, I'm saying that Sky Moore is going to be the guy, knowing that Kadarius Toney should be the guy, but can't do it. The guy just can't do it. All right, here we go. Back to the draft. Round 9, I take Sky Moore as my 4th receiver. So a little light at receiver. I mean, let's see. The software is recommending Jerick McKinnon. Let's see if I uncheck the Hansen's Hints mode. It's still going Jerick McKinnon. Let's see if I uncheck running back. What would be the pick? Aaron Rodgers. Not really. I don't like that. Jacoby Myers is very boring. So when I look at all the best players available, I hate to say it, but Khalil Herbert really stands out. I'm going to go with it. I'm feeling Khalil Herbert too. It's him and James Cook. Look at these very interesting tweener types, but they could be their team's primary backs. In fact, they should be, especially Cook. So this is a nice value in rounds 8 and 10 for these two running backs, who, by the way, are pop-off film, especially Herbert, averaging it's at 5 yards a carry for the career thus far, and it's a decent number of carries. We could still get, by the way, Jerick McKinnon, who kind of seems a little too good to be true here. I just took him at like 121 overall or something, but the guy was a league-winning type, and he is only my RB4. So we are drafting very gurifically here, and we'll see what we see. And the software is going to recommend Cole Kmet. That's certainly not bad. We are a little light at receiver, though. Let's take a look at our best options there. Rashee Rice. Oh, wow. Rashid Shaheed just went. See, that's the randomization of this, because I just did a version of this a couple of minutes ago that's not in this video. And, oh, no, maybe Rashid Shaheed is there. I don't see him drafted. Let's go back to our available players. And let's see. Let's just sort by ADP. We are a little light at receiver with Sky Moore only our 4th, even though I'm very high on Sky. Rashee Rice, KJ Osborne, MVS, no. Alec Pierce is good. Oh, there's Shaheed. I mean, it's a little early for Shaheed. His ADP is 160, and we are at 140. We can also, if you're watching the video, sort by projected points of the available players, obviously, and that's going to be quarterback heavy. Shaheed, though, is the pick. So we'll do it. I am projecting him to score the next most points at wide receiver. It's a little bit of an overpay, but I'm very much into Rashid Shaheed. And there you go. Cole Kmet was still available with our next pick. So now we are into round 14, winding down the draft. Been taking this guy pretty much every time. Kenny Pickett. Can't have everybody. I mean, there's a lot of guys here I kind of like. Brock Purdy and Juwan Johnson, Jaden Reed, Tajay Spears, Kenny Gainwell even. But we need to get a good QB2. We'll just do that just in case with Kenny Pickett in round 14. Honestly, it does help make our team look a little stronger, I think, in terms of points. And now software is going to recommend Bryce Young, which is not ideal. Let's get another receiver. And I've been taking this guy a lot. Paris Campbell as that 6th receiver. Not bad. Wan'Dale Robinson and Sterling Shepard open up Giants training camp on the NFI or PUP, and they're not counting on those guys right away. Darren Waller going to be in the slot a lot, but Paris Campbell is getting running back handoffs. He's going to be their main slot, likely to open the season. So I like him a lot. So let's take a look at the projected starting lineup. Very gurific. Trevor Lawrence, Breece Hall, Rachaad White, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Pitts, with James Cook and Sky Moore in the flex, with Khalil Herbert, Jerick McKinnon as backups. That's RB4 and 5. And then Rashid Shaheed and Paris Campbell as backups. That's wide receiver 5 and 6. And Cole Kmet, tight end 2. Kenny Pickett, QB 2. So very good team. Very balanced. I feel like it was maximized in terms of getting a lot of potential value and also following the trends to a point where we're not weakened by ignoring those trends. In other words, getting in the wide receiver business, going wide receiver to open the draft. It's a tough spot in the 4-hole, but I think I've just illustrated as of right now that wide receiver is a good way to go, because you can probably get a decent running back in round 3, and then our guy Rachaad White is a real savior. This is a good year, I think, to get Kyle Pitts. Didn't say that last year. Ayuk continues to ascend. This team is sexy. James Cook, Sky Moore with Cadaverous Tony already down, so looking good. Let's see what the software says, though. It does add up all the projected scores for the starters and the non-starters and this 12-teamer. Let's see where this one stands. It should be high because we did listen to the software quite a bit, and we came in first in starter points and second out of 12 in total points. Not too shabby. And those starters, again, Trevor Lawrence, Breece Hall, Rachaad White, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Pitts, James Cook, Sky Moore. Very, very gurific. Thank you for listening in. Now, I'm not going to be able to do this periodically in August, but the draft plan article on the site for Fantasy Point subscribers, I will go through this and basically paste in a screenshot of teams drafted. I'll do it once a week in August, basically, to stay up with the ADP to make sure you're getting the tightest advice ever. Again, this happens every year. These teams are unbelievable in June and July. All players I like. Then because I like them, there's usually a reason. They start rising up the board due to all the positive things that I saw in the offseason. And then the ADP gets tighter, and these teams are not really realistic. But this one here looks damn good, at least to me, on July 26th. That's a wrap on this edition of Hansen's Hints. Make sure you tune into the other draft positional podcasts here. We'll do some more stuff, obviously podcast-wise and video-wise, on the Fantasy Points feed. So subscribe wherever you get your pods. Like, comment, good stuff, all that on the video. Help us out. And until we catch you next time, I'm John Hansen, and this has been another edition of Hansen's Hits at fantasypoints.com.